Hi, I'm Lady Cat, and welcome back to Lady Cat's Dungeon Quest. Welcome to episode 6 of our Let's Play of Icewind Dale Enhanced Edition. We are currently in a cave full of
You
orcs.
have need of me?
Their party led by Rhaenyra. So, obviously I named some characters in my games after George R.R. Martin characters,
As you
and
wish.
I figured that maybe, since I won a vent about
Of
bullshit
course.
I see in the fandom. Maybe we could do that here every now and then. Just talk about House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones. I mean, obviously, I want to spend some time also talking about more like D&D directly related stuff like the Dragonlance books, the Forgotten Realms books. But I'm not reading any of those right now. I'm not leaving the Lord of the
I
Rings
am
off
by
the
your
table
side.
for discussion either. But I thought it might be fun to have a
As you
little
wish.
conversation about bullshit that I see in the House of the Dragon fandom. And, like, just, oh my god, a lack of media literacy is pervading the world today. Like, and not even just
You
media
have need of
literacy,
me?
just literacy in general. Like, half of the kids in school can't read these days. Like, what on earth is happening to America?
I'm
But anyway, media
Hilda.
literacy is really suffering in the House of the Dragon fandom.
Yes.
And one of the
No
big
small
things
task.
in that fandom right now, um, throughout season 3, has been this whole Team Green versus Team Black bullshit. Like, you're either on Alicent's side or you're on Rhaenyra's
I
side,
am by your side.
and like,
Are you ready for me? Vita Mortis.
if you're not on Team Black for Rhaenyra, you're a misogynist. The writers are misogynists.
I am here.
Oh my gosh. There is a, just let me say, as a woman, there is a huge difference between misogyny and criticizing a woman for the same things that you would also criticize a man for. Rhaenyra
You have need
becomes
of me?
a freaking tyrant. It's not okay. And people are all like, oh, but she's the
What do you
rightful
want?
heir. And I'm like, okay,
Yes.
this is
You want
an
me?
authoritarian hereditary monarchy. There is no such
I
thing
am by your side.
as a just or
Yes.
rightful ruler. Like, this is a corrupt system of government to begin with. This is
Something wrong?
a bad system of government to begin with. This is a system of government that we did away with because it was unjust.
Where they at? In no time.
And a huge theme
Yes. Very
of the
well.
House of the Dragon is that the crown is a weight that crushes all who wear it. Okay, let's talk about Rhaenyra for a second. Rhaenyra, first of all, regardless of being the rightful heir, she was brought up by her father Viserys, who himself was not a great ruler, not decisive, not actiony. The Iron Throne cut him and gave him his illness
here.
because it judged him
Very well.
unworthy. So first of all,
Let's spill some blood.
his decisions are kind of meaningless. And second, if you pay any attention at all, you'll notice that he did not prepare her for taking the throne at all.
You have need of me?
She got
I'm listening.
no
As you wish.
preparation to be ready to take the throne. So, why is she going to make a good ruler? Like, just because sexism is bad? And so, therefore, as a woman, she must be a good ruler? No, I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way. We are not perfect just because we're women. There's this disturbing little branch of feminism these days that seems to feel like all women deserve everything and can do no wrong ever, regardless of what horrible things they do, because they're justified because they're women. We are not perfect. Sexism is one of the bad guys in George R.R. Martin's world, and he writes his books to reflect this. If
I'm
you
here.
pay attention, you'll notice,
I'm
yes,
off.
these books are all taking place in a misogynist man's world, and women are having to fight and struggle to have any agency or power.
I am by your side. As you wish.
Cersei fights for power. Cersei often resents that she was not born a man because she would not face the lack of agency that she faces and the lack of power that she faces throughout the series.
Yes. No small task.
We see people against Rhaenyra just because she's a woman, but that's not the only reason to be against Rhaenyra. She was not prepared to take the throne. She's a horrible ruler. She fails miserably at ruling and then turns to tyranny and violence to maintain her power. She becomes an absolute monster. You would hold a male king
Ready.
accountable
Give the
for
word.
all the bullshit she does.
I am by
You
your
can't
side.
not hold her accountable just because she's a woman. It's not misogynist to hold her accountable just because she's a woman. Okay, now, we were talking about media literacy, and I'm sorry, I just had to get all that out because it's so frustrating. And like one of the other recent things I saw was, oh, well, proximity to the throne drives Rhaenyra crazy, clearly because she's a woman, because the writers are misogynist. I bet when Aegon retakes the throne, he's not gonna go crazy. Like, I'm sorry, but are we watching the same show? Does Aegon seem like he's doing alright and well adjusted? Has he ever seemed like that at any point?
Let's take it to him.
He's a horrible person too! And he's batshit crazy by the time we see him most recently. When he's giving his great big, see me in my wrath and vengeance, this is my return speech, where Sunfire burns all of House Mooten's troops. He doesn't know Sunfire is there until after Sunfire shows up. He is just batshit crazy and thinks he's gonna stand against all these people and thinks he's striking in mighty vengeance. Like, no, the crown has driven him crazy too. They say when a Targaryen is born, the gods flip a coin. I say, no. Targaryen madness is a result of power. Now, with that being said, this is a hereditary
What do you want?
monarchy of conquerors.
I'm off.
The media literacy fallacy that I am seeing, and my biggest problem with all this Team Black, Team Green bullshit,
I'm off.
is that they are trying to look for a
I am
good
by your
guy
side.
and a bad guy in every story, specifically in a story that is all about the wrongness of monarchy. All the main characters are bad guys. Arguably, Helena is the only good guy in the series, and she's not the protagonist. She's a secondary character. There is no good guy in House of the Dragon. Just a bunch of bad guys vying for power. That's it. I'm completely distracted from what's going on in the game here. I think I'm about to have Cersei try to sneak attack the ogre in this next room to start this battle off. There is not a good guy and a bad guy in every story. Literature is more complex and nuanced than that oftentimes. The good guys in this story are the common folk, arguably Helena,
Yes.
and unfortunately none of them are going to win out because this is not a story of good triumphing over evil. This is a history of a power struggle within a corrupt, one might even be tempted to say evil, family of conqueror rulers.
What do you want? I'm off.
I gotta hit my vape. Give me a second.
Something wrong?
Insert potion Imperium.
Yes?
Rhaenyra is not the good guy. Like, if you were rooting from her from the beginning because you picked her out and you felt sorry for her because of the sexism that she was enduring, like, okay, yeah, the sexism is one of the bad guys. Like, arguably, sexism and hereditary monarchy itself are the bad guys of this series. More so than any of the main characters, but all the main characters are still bad guys. Like, no bad guy starts out a bad guy. No evil person starts out wanting to do evil or thinking they're doing evil.
My wounds need tending.
And in this series, Rhaenyra turns... fuck, Freya died. I'll have to start over. Anyway, in this series, Rhaenyra turns to evil deeds in order to gain and maintain power, which she feels is rightfully hers because it was bestowed on her by the monarch before her. Okay, this is like selecting a ruler by having a watery tart lob a scimitar at them, to quote Monty Python. It's no system for establishing a government. This is why we have democracies today. Because it's more just. Monarchies are the least just, most totalitarian system of governing a people. And arguably, sexism and hereditary monarchy are the bad guys of this series, but like, if you're expecting Rhaenyra to win this, have you not read the book, Fire and Blood? Have you not read the wiki? A Song of Ice and Fire wiki? Have you not been watching the same goddamn show we're watching, or even seen Game of Thrones? We know what's going to happen to her. Spoilers, she's going to be fed to her brother's dragon, Sunfire. The story does not have a happy ending for Rhaenyra. I'm sorry if you felt like the show was setting her up as the main character. There's more than one main character in this show. They're all shitty.
I'm here.
And for the most part, have shit endings. At best, go on to become tyrants. Crazy motherfucking Targaryen tyrants.
You had need of me.
There's a reason why no one likes the Targaryens.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, yeah, the commoners cheer for the coronations and everything, but, like, commoners are gonna cheer for any ruler. Just because they live in a system that has promised them that a ruler will give them stability and take care of their needs, even though they don't even do that. But they're promised that. So of course they're gonna cheer when Aegon takes the throne, of course they're gonna cheer when Rhaenyra takes the throne. Because it's a change, and they think, oh, maybe this time things will go well for us.
Yes?
Rhaenyra makes so many promises that she can't deliver on.
Yes?
It's a politician's favorite thing to do.
What's up?
And I think
Give the word.
she does it mainly out of ignorance
Baccio,
and not realizing that she does not have any of the necessary training to rule. Oh, god damn it, Cersei's dead now. I'm gonna have to start this fight over again. I don't think I've even noticed yet because I'm still giving people orders, but like, whatever.
I am here. As you wish.
Like, I'm sorry, but it is not that much of a spoiler that Rhaenyra dies being fed to her brother's dragon. If you have watched Game of Thrones, you know how this story ends. If you have read the book Fire and Blood, you know how the story ends. If you've even just checked her page on the Song of Ice and Fire wiki, you know how this story ends. It is not that much of a spoiler
Yes.
what's gonna happen to Rhaenyra. And it's not an undeserved ending for her. I'm not saying Aegon is a good guy. No, Aegon's a fucking bastard. Not in the bastard sense, but in the asshole sense.
Here they are.
And like, I see people complaining about the
I'm
the season teaser art that's like
Ready.
the final episode teaser art that has a picture of Aegon shouting his vengeance with Sunfire behind him. That's like the I don't want to say the Return of the King because that's not what it says, and that's a Lord of the Rings book,
I'm
but
listening.
basically that.
Ready.
And then Rhaenyra is labeled Queen of Bastards. Well, she is. It's not misogynist to point out that she pretended that her bastard children weren't bastards and put them in line for the throne. Like, I'm sorry, but if a king doesn't have a right to do that, a queen doesn't get it just for the sake of being a woman. Like,
What's up?
I was talking about there being this problem within a small subsect of feminism, and it is an entitlement thing, and that is so weird and ironic to see among feminists, because what are we always fighting? Male entitlement.
Yes.
We don't fix that with female entitlement.
I am by your side.
We don't get to just do whatever we want either. We are also bound by the social contracts of our societies. Men are not exempt from the social contracts of society. We just happen to live in a misogynist society where women are expected to endure different, harsher social contracts than men are. But if a social contract applies to men, it is not feminist to argue that it should not apply to women. That is not gender equality. Off my high horse for a minute. Like, you should not be rooting for Aegon. You should not be rooting for Rhaenyra. You should basically not be rooting for anyone in this story but Helena, and if you haven't seen the last episode of the season, then spoilers. She commits suicide and falls to her death.
I'm listening.
Because in this misogynist society, she has no agency. And it's not just men denying her that agency, it's actually mainly another woman at this point, which is not uncommon in actual society. Women play into misogyny against other women and against girls all the time.
Yes? You had need of me?
We are trained to reinforce misogyny ourselves on other women
Yes, I'll get right on it.
to keep the system running.
I'm here.
Like, why and how do you think right-wing women exist? They have been trained to accept and reinforce misogyny upon themselves and upon their daughters and upon other women.
Ready.
This story is a tragedy.
I am here.
The ending is not going to be happy.
And willing.
Because Aegon is going to win, Aegon is going to rule, and Aegon is going to be a typical fucking Targaryen tyrant.
Yes.
If you're looking for the moral of the story, it is that hereditary monarchies and misogyny are bad.
I'm here.
And the writers do not ignore that. The writers are not misogynists. The writers do not play up misogyny for its own sake just to have fun being misogynist. The misogyny that you see in the story is part of the storytelling of this world, which is a misogynist world.
I am by your side.
We see clear messages that it's wrong,
What do you want?
but that doesn't mean that we're just going to get a queen
My wounds need tending.
ruling happily and successfully just to say
Ready.
that misogyny is wrong.
Yes.
We get smaller
Vita.
acknowledgments of it. We get smaller tips of the hat to the fact that misogyny is wrong. We get smaller victories for Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra gets respect.
Yes.
Rhaenyra gets to rule for a while. And she's not ill cut out for it because she's a woman. That's not the way they're writing it. She's ill cut out for it because she was sabotaged and because she was not brought up with the training needed to rule effectively. That was completely ignored. Like, the best thing Viserys did for her was to bring her to small council meetings, and that's like, I'm sorry, but that is not enough to teach someone how to rule. And given that Viserys doesn't even know how to rule himself, effectively, he was never equipped to train her how to rule, so she was just always screwed over. It's just part of the story. Like, watching the earlier seasons, I was rooting for Rhaenyra so hard the whole time, and I hadn't read the book, and I forgot them talking about the Dance of Dragons in Game of Thrones, and I hadn't read the wiki yet, so I didn't know yet how it was going to end, so maybe it is a bit of a spoiler how it ends. But I was rooting for her from the beginning. And as she started turning to violence and tyranny to maintain her power, I was like, oh damn, this is not good. My girl, what are you doing? And that's what you should be like, no matter whether you were rooting for her from the beginning or not. At the point when she is doing unconscionable things to gain and maintain power, you should be like, oh girl, hell no. You do not represent us as women anymore. But there is no media literacy in fandom today. And Tumblr, I love Tumblr so much. I used to consider myself a social justice warrior. I still consider myself to be an activist. I don't like the word social justice warrior anymore because Tumblr has ruined it. Tumblr has ruined social justice warrioring. It's like we've just got a bunch of people now who want to always be in the right and never be in the wrong, and think they're always in the right and never in the wrong, and just by being the angriest that they can at whatever they think is unfair, regardless of whether it's fair or not, just because it's happening to someone who is part of an oppressed and marginalized group, which doesn't make a person perfect and not subject to the social contract that we all live under to have a society. That's not social justice, honey. Anyway, thank you for joining me
I'm here.
as I killed this ogre and hopefully this bullshit in the HOTD fandom. We're gonna save and call it an episode. As always, thank you so very much for watching. If you would like more Icewind Dale Enhanced Edition, there will be a link on the left of the screen. If you'd like to subscribe, there is a link on the right. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and if you want to support me, thank you. There's a link to my Patreon in the description. Roll long and prosper.